Two countries, India and Pakistan, same date of birth, that is 15th August 1947.
But the national flag, the saffron, white and green tricolour, was publicly unfurled, all rejoicing over the birth of the Dominion of India. This was the scene in Karachi at the meeting of the Constituent Assembly. Liaquat Ali Khan moved a resolution concerning the Pakistan national flag and handed one round.
Same colonial past, same poverty, same chaos at the starting line, and yet today India's economy is 10 times the size of Pakistan.
According to a government statement released on December 30th, India's economy has reached a size of 4.18 trillion US dollars, allowing it to surpass Japan and claim the fourth position among the world's largest economies.
India is one of the largest economies in the world, and Pakistan is still stuck in the same loop. Borrow, struggle, repeat. It has become their permanent process now.
Shehbaz Sharif has admitted that he and Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir have been travelling from country to country, heads bowed, asking for money. Not negotiating, not partnering, begging.
लेकिन आप जानते हैं कि जो कर्ज लेने जाता है उसका सर झुका हुआ होता है.
Today in 2026, India is preparing for a Viksit Bharat 2047.
एक तो हमारा लक्ष्य है 2047 हिंदुस्तान विकसित होना ही चाहिए. आजादी के 100 साल ऐसे बनाएंगे कि दुनिया में विकसित भारत का झंडा फहरता है.
While Pakistan is barely growing and struggling at about 3%.
Now, some analysts have also put estimates of overall damage to the Pakistani economy at over $30 billion. The economic situation may also worsen on the account of delayed approval of IMF funds.
And here's what makes you really stop and think. At one point of time, Pakistan's per capita income was actually growing more than India, and Pakistan wasn't behind. It was actually ahead of our country.
एक अरसा ऐसा जब पाकिस्तान की पर कैपिटा इनकम यानी कि वहां की औसतन आमदनी इंडिया की बराबरी करती थी और कभी-कभी तो हमसे भी ज्यादा थी.
So what happened? Where exactly did their economy take a U-turn, and why did Pakistan end up where it is today? On one side, India is making defense and trade deals with EU and the rest of the world.
President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen said, "This is only the beginning."
Prime Minister, distinguished friend, we did it. We delivered the mother of all deals.
While Pakistan is falling far behind in every indicator. Today's geopolitical case study is literally just bad decision making, short-term benefit, long-term disasters. That's the whole vibe. Let's get into it. Everybody, and welcome to Borders and Beyond. Let's start from the very beginning, 1947. Our leadership understood something early that most newly independent countries don't figure out until it's too late. They understood that no single person, no matter how brilliant or popular, could carry a country on their shoulders forever. What you need is a system that works even when the people at the top change. You need institutions. So Nehru, Sardar Patel and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar came together and made a very deliberate choice. They said the constitution comes first, the law comes first, and most importantly, the military stays out of the politics. Full stop. That last point sounds simple, but it's one of the most important decisions any new country can make. The Indian Army's only job was to defend the borders, not to run the government ever, and that line was drawn very, very clearly and never allowed to blur. And while India was still extremely poor and figuring things out, it started thinking long term. The Planning Commission was set up in 1950.
Soon after the Constitution came into effect, a Planning Commission was established on the 15th of March 1950.
IIT Kharagpur opened in 1951. AIMS came up as a world-class medical institution. Heavy industries, dams, scientific research bodies, democratic institutions, all of this started taking shape in those early years. India was building things that were designed to outlive its leaders. Now let's look at Pakistan, and this is where the story gets complicated. Pakistan was created in a rush of emotion and political urgency. The idea of Pakistan existed, the passion for it existed, but the institutional backbone needed to actually run the country that was weak from day one. There was no ready constitution, no deep tradition of democratic governance, no real preparation for how power would be divided and who would be accountable to whom. And the very first blow came almost immediately. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, the one man who could have held everything together, died in September 1948.
Jinnah's death at the age of 71 was a bitter blow to all the peoples of the great Muslim dominion, for he was more than the head of the state. He personified the struggle and the aspirations of his people.
And just over a year after independence, he had served as a governor general, not a prime minister, which meant the executive power sat in his office.
For in this nation, which in the past had housed many a British governor, there now came into residence the first Muslim Governor General of Pakistan, the Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
And when he was gone, that office didn't just disappear, it just fell into hands of someone else. Then in October 1951, Pakistan's first Prime Minister, Liaquat Ali Khan, was assassinated in Rawalpindi during a public gathering.
News of the assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan came as a great shock throughout the Commonwealth. As Pakistan's first Prime Minister, he was the trusted leader of his country in its early formative period.
The killer was shot dead before he could be questioned. To this day, no one has been conclusively held responsible. And think about what that means for a country that's only 4 years old. You've lost your original founder, you've lost your first prime minister, and there's no clarity on who's really in charge. And into this vacuum walks a man named Malik Ghulam Muhammad.
Sir Malik himself was a controversial figure. Though a former ICS officer with administrative experience, his tenure in Pakistan weakened constitutional governance and strengthened executive overreach.
Now this name doesn't come up often in the casual conversation, but it really should, because Ghulam Muhammad is one of the most consequential figures in Pakistan's early history, and absolutely not in a good way. He wasn't a mass leader. He hadn't won any election whatsoever. He was a bureaucrat, a perfect product of a British colonial administrative system. He had served in the Indian civil service and later became Pakistan finance minister, and in 1951 he became governor general. While in India, that position of governor general had been gradually made ceremonial. Political authority represented, and that rested with the only elected representatives. But in Pakistan, the governor general's office remained disproportionately powerful, and Ghulam Muhammad made sure to use that power extremely aggressively. He dismissed the Prime Minister Khwaja Nizamuddin in 1953. Even though Nizamuddin had the confidence of the assembly, he replaced him with Muhammad Ali Bogra, essentially handpicking Pakistan's Prime Minister from outside the democratic process. But even that wasn't the worst of it. The worst came in 1954.
अक्टूबर 1904 में गुलाम मोहम्मद ने वो कदम उठाया जिसने तारीख बदल दी, पाकिस्तान की पहली दस्तूर साज असेंबली तहलील। जबकि असेंबली आइन तैयार कर चुकी थी। 25 दिसंबर 1904 को मंजूरी मुतवक्के थी। ये अक़दाम जमहूरियत के गिले पर छुरी के मुतरादिफ था।
So by 1954, Pakistan Constituent Assembly, the body that was supposed to write the country's constitution, started to delay. They were trying to reduce the powers of Governor General and give more authorities to rightly elected representatives. And what was Ghulam Muhammad's response? He dissolved the Constituent Assembly immediately. He dissolved the very body that was writing the constitution. And now I want you to think about that for a moment. The people who were supposed to be deciding the rules of the country, their entire existence was wiped out by one unelected man who felt threatened. And now the president of that assembly, a man named Maulvi Nizamuddin Khan, went to court.
मौलवी तमीजुद्दीन खान सिंध हाईकोर्ट चले गए। सिंध हाईकोर्ट ने इस मुकदमे की समाअत की। हुआ ये कि सिंध की जो कोर्ट थी उन्होंने मौलवी तमीजुद्दीन के हक में फैसला दे दिया। अदालत ने कहा गवर्नर जनरल का असेंबली तोड़ने का जो अमल है वो गैर आईनी है और नाजायज है।
He began rightly questioning the dissolution, and the Sindh High Court actually agreed with him. They said that the dissolution was invalid, but then the case went up to the Federal Court of Pakistan, and this is where something truly damaging happened.
फेडरल कोर्ट ने 21 मार्च 1955 को सिंध हाई कोर्ट का फैसला कलअदम करार दे दिया। फैसला चीफ जस्टिस मुनीर ने तहरीर किया। जस्टिस ASM अकरम, जस्टिस शरीफ और जस्टिस SA रहमान ने इस फैसले से इत्तफाक किया।
Chief Justice Muhammad Munir sided with Governor General. He validated the resolution, and in doing so, he introduced a legal principle into Pakistan system that would be used over and over again for the next several decades. And he quoted an old legal maxim that which is otherwise not lawful is made lawful by necessity. This became the foundation of the infamous thing called the Doctrine of Necessity in Pakistan. So the basic idea was, if someone in power claimed that an unconstitutional action was necessary for stability, the courts would actually legitimize it. And in plain language, if you are powerful enough and your reasons sound serious enough, the constitution doesn't really apply to you. And in 1955, Chief Justice Munir said in one of his ruling that necessity knows no laws, and this phrase would echo throughout Pakistan political history till date. And once the principle agreed the legal system, the constitution itself became negotiable, because now any powerful actor, any bureaucrat, any general or anyone could point this and say, hey, you know what, I did what was necessary. And the full concept of the necessity came to force in 1958 in the State versus Doso case, in which Munir validated the military takeover of Iskandar Mirza and Ayub Khan, with the court observing that a successful coup was an internal recognized legal method of changing the constitution. Legalized illegality, that was the phrase used, and the damage from that one judgment spread across decades.
इसके बाद इन पर पै दर पै नई बीमारियों के हमले शुरू हो गए। कभी तेज बुखार, कभी निमोनिया, कभी प्लोरेसी, कभी ब्लड प्रेशर।
So by 1955, Ghulam Muhammad's health started deteriorating. And while the health crisis created another power vacuum, a new figure was already rising. And honestly, this guy changed everything. His name was Iskandar Mirza. He was born in Bengal in 1899. Mirza had trained as a military officer in Sandhurst before moving into the colonial bureaucracy. So unlike most politicians, he had connections in both worlds, the military and administration. And after Ghulam Muhammad's collapse, he became Governor General in 1955.
इस गवर्नमेंट में हमारे पास गवर्नर जनरल की पोस्ट चेंज होने जा रही है प्रेसिडेंट की पोस्ट में। हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जनरल इस्कंदर मिर्जा was the last governor general and the first president of Pakistan.
And what Mirza did was something that would repeat itself in Pakistan history over and over again. He started using the same military as political tool to stay in power. He thought he could use the army to manage politicians and maintain control. It was a smart strategy, but wrongly read. And because while Mirza was playing political games, another man was quietly accumulating the real power.
आर्मी और पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ये बिल्कुल प्रॉपर कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है इनका। इसीलिए हम देखते हैं, हम ये कहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में जो रियल कंट्रोल है वो आर्मी के पास है। लेकिन दोस्तों मजे की बात ये है, आपको शायद लग रहा होगा कि ये एक डिक्टेटर थे, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं था। जनरल अयूब खान के टेन्योर में पाकिस्तान बहुत बड़ा।
General Ayub Khan was born in 1907, which is now called Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He trained at Standard just like Mirza, joined the British Indian Army, and after partition rose quickly through the Pakistan's military ranks. And in 1951, he became Pakistan's first native commander-in-chief of the Pakistan Army. And now historians have noted that this promotion bypassed several more prominent senior officers. But by this point, Pakistan's political establishment preferred military men who were politically cooperative over those who were more experienced or deserving. And this was the fatal mistake. And no one clocked it at that point of time. Pakistan's civilian and bureaucratic leadership had started using the military as a political instrument. And that permanently shifted the balance of power. And then came the moment that sealed Pakistan's fate for generations to come.
जनरल अयूब खान अपनी आप बीती फ्रेंड्स नॉट मास्टर्स में लिखते हैं, मैं 5 अक्टूबर को कराची पहुंचा और सीधा जनरल इस्कंदर मिर्जा से मिलने गया। मैंने पूछा, क्या आपने अच्छी तरह सोच विचार कर लिया है? हाँ, क्या इसके सिवा कोई और चारा नहीं? नहीं। मैंने सोचा कि कितनी बदकिस्मती की बात है कि हालात ऐसे मोड़ तक पहुंच गए हैं।
On 7th October 1958, Iskandar Mirza imposed the martial law. He abolished the constitution, dismissed the government, and appointed General Ayub Khan as a chief martial law administrator. Mirza genuinely believed he was still in charge. He believed that he had just made Ayub Khan his useful tool. He was so wrong. And within 20 days, Ayub Khan moved. Military officials surrounded the presidential palace. Mirza was forced to resign. He was put on a plane and exiled to London forever, where he lived out the rest of his days. He never returned to Pakistan. And just like that, barely 11 years after independence, Pakistan formally entered the military-dominated rule.
Courts became echo chambers, politicians were sidelined, the constitution became a casualty. It was the army that claimed the corpse, and they never gave it back.
And since its creation in 1947, Pakistan has spent several decades under the military rule, from 1958 to 1971, from 1977 to 1988, and from 1999 to 2008. And every single time one of these military takeovers happened, the courts reached out, backed and pulled out the same doctrine of necessity to legitimize it. And the courtesy of Chief Justice Munir Maulavi Taimuzuddin judgment, the doctrine attained the status of judicial precedent, and courts readily followed it to legitimize subsequent military coup. Pakistan allowed individuals and power centers to become bigger than institutions, and both countries, India and Pakistan, emerged from nearly 2 centuries of shared colonial rule with broadly similar state institutions, and still ended up in a completely different place. Not because of resources, not because of geography, but because of those early calls about how power would be organized, distributed and constrained. So the learning is, nations don't become strong through armies or slogans or borrowed money. They become strong when constitution remains supreme, when institutions outlive the leaders who built them, and when no unelected force, no matter how powerful, is allowed to become bigger than the democracy itself.